Hello chess lovers, I have a fantastic game for you played by Mikhail Tal against Lajos Portisch. The game was played in 1965 Tal Portisch candidates quarterfinal. Tal started with e4 and c6 by Portisch. Black goes for Caro-Kann defense. Knight c3, d5, knight f3. Tal is choosing the two knights attack. The main move is bishop g4, but we see d takes e4. Knight takes e4, bishop g4, h3, bishop takes f3, queen takes f3, knight d7, d4, knight f6, bishop d3, knight takes e4, queen takes e4, e6, white castles kingside, bishop e7, c3, strengthening the center, knight f6, queen h4, knight d5, queen g4, targeting the pawn on g7, bishop f6, rook e1 and queen b6. Looks like Portisch is playing a very provocative chess. For example, instead of safely castling kingside, he's playing queen b6, going for complications. And as you know, this is what Mikhail Tal wants. He played c4, and after knight b4, I'm sure that you have guessed Mikhail Tal's next move. Did you find rook takes e6 check? Of course he went for this move. There it goes. Let's see. F takes e6, queen takes e6 check, king f8, and bishop f4 with a very dangerous threat, bishop d6 check. Rook d8. Well, if a move like queen d8 with the idea of covering the king after bishop d6, then white can first play rook e1. If bishop e7, then bishop b1, and if something like c5, then rook e5. This is going to be a very dangerous attack. Let's go back, but instead, after bishop f4, we see rook d8. By playing this move, Portisch had decided to give up his queen. After c5, Portisch captured on d3. Well, if a move like queen a5, then this is terrible, rook e1, and it's difficult to find a good move for black. Bishop d6 followed by queen e8 checkmate is the threat. That's why after c5 we see knight takes d3, c takes b6, knight takes f4, queen g4, knight d5. Well, if we have a look at the position, Portisch got two pieces and a rook against the queen. Actually, Angels give white only a slight advantage. Now, Tal captured on a7 and a bad move by Portisch, king e7. It was better to play g6 and then bring the king onto a safe square. But instead, after b takes a7, Portisch played king e7. This allows white to bring the rook on e1 square with a check and then queen e6. But first, Tal played b4, rook a8. Well, if knight takes b4, then rook e1 check, if king f7, then queen e6 check, and then rook b1. If bishop e7, simply a3, this is going to be terrible for black. Let's go back, but after b4 we see rook a8, now comes a rook e1 check, king d6, but now comes b5, rook takes a7, rook e6 check, king c7, and in this position Tal made a move and Portisch resigned. Can you find his next move? Ready? He just captured on f6 and Portisch resigned. If g takes f6, then queen g7 check, winning the rook, and this is going to be winning for white. If you enjoyed this brilliant attacking game by Mikhail Tal, don't forget to give the thumbs up or subscribe to my channel. More games are coming. Good luck.